Welcome back to my journal. So, last time we spoke a little bit about values. It was not really about values because, I really like to wander when I talk. So, I don't have a clear structure of the thing I want to say. So, that is the reason why in one session I may have to record several videos because sometimes I just go off the track and start to talk about something else, which I usually keep the video if the topic or like the overall like video is quite is acceptable. Otherwise, I'm just gonna delete it and redo it over and over again. So we started talking about values and how like elderly people said that our values are now dead. And with the previous video, if you haven't watched it, I suggest you to have a look. I don't think that is true. But at the same time, I cannot give a concrete opinion because I never lived their lives. I never lived their time, especially. So, nowadays, I'm 19. I'm very young. I have a lot of things to experience, to learn, and to understand overall. And but I think it's quite singular, like how sometimes you understand things not from a direct effect, but rather from an indirect effect. So today the main topic will be having values. So like the the literature, the cinematography, and also wherever you say and you see online, you can always see of how like maybe like people without values, I say this kind of etiquette instead of saying something worse, because let's be politically and morally correct. So they always, at the end, they always succeed, which is something that is very romanticized. So there is always the idea of the guy that was hurt by somebody and he became something evil. So the first example that popped to my mind is the Joker. It was like a guy with serious problem that was made fun of and was molested, and very terrible thing happened to him, and he changed to the dark side, to use a very very cinematographic metaphor. And it's something that it's seen as an idol, and I think that is wrong. That is wrong, but it's the true reality. So I'm always very nice to people. Of course, you cannot know, and I cannot demonstrate it because I want to keep this journal as a separate part of my life. Just to expand on that for a little bit. It's the journal, it's the revival of my first stance of philosophical approach to my life. In fact, I used to write poetries and short commentary, essay, or papers about the things that I was passionate for. I had a section for academic writing, which I still continue daily, which is like legal topics, technology, policymaking, and stuff. And another part which is more intimistic, which basically is about the way I feel, and maybe also my love life, which I feel is is a fine line between hilarious and tragic. But the fact of writing, of expressing myself with words into poetry, because my poetries are very free there. They don't have the chains of rhyming, of rhymes and like metrics and sounds. They are free, so they are just a stream of consciousness on paper. They help me to reduce the pain, to kind of to ease all the uneasiness that I have inside me. And that is like the second phase of a coin, because the first phase is my professional and everyday life, a very social, friendly guy. I love to joke a lot. I do 3,000 things. I write, I do podcasts, I go to conference, I do this, I do that. I have many friends. I love them all unconditionally. But sometimes, this kind of behavior, I have to recognize that is also like a kind of mask. So not saying that I'm not genuine, because I think as myself a very transparent and genuine person. So if me and you, we don't get along, like I have no problems to be direct and tell you that, or like let you notice it. So my social relations are real, and they are built on my trust. But sometimes, like I'm just a little bit too loose with them, in the sense of like maybe I permit to many things, like sometimes is somebody like say something not nice to me, or like does something not nice to me, or it doesn't show me, the usual respect, let's put it that way. Most of the time I let it slide, which is something that I reckon that is not very good for me. But at the end, I have always stick to my values. So because like I feel that I had many opportunities to be, to be the nonchalant guys, to be a little bit more Gen Z like. So basically saying that, don't care, like, don't texting, the replying, or like, treating people like shit because, just to feel cool. And I had several occasions to do that, but every time I chosen to be nice. And I think that is really the difference between like a normal person and a winner. Because a normal person changes sides whenever it's more convenient. So it doesn't have also the mental strength to go on also against, his interest, his basic interest. Whether like, I think that real winner, like they really stay on their side, no matter what. Like sometimes you are mistaken, sometimes you do dumb shit, but that's okay. The important is to recognize, to apologize if you harmed somebody, but to still like be in your side. It's also on TikTok, on Instagram, you can see these guys that after a breakup they turn into the villain arc, which is something that I really don't approve to. But because I think it's pointless. Because, I also think that 90% of the people, like in general, are very superficial. Like many people that you will come across to your life, they're like just plain surface. They don't have any depth, So it's easy also to, screw relationship up and to, lose friendship with those kind of people. Because like the interaction, there is no traction between the two parties. So therefore, like, you just need one moment of absence of friction, and then there you go. Like you just lost a friend, you just lost a lover, you just lost a person from your life. And at first it hurts, because it's not easy to let somebody go, especially when you have feelings, when you think that this person was meant to be with you. And I'm not only talking about lovers or partners, but also friends. Like, sometimes it's hard to see, like, a dear friend of mine, like, just parting away our ways, so dividing ourselves just, for something stupid, or like, for a decision that you made that he doesn't like at all. Like, my primary example is that, when I was 13, I was in high school. I was a popular kid overall because, it was fun. I was not good looking, okay? And, now I don't care if I look good, or like if people find me attractive or anything. Now I really don't care. But back in the day, I used to suffer because I was quite obese. But I was the funny guy. So, like, more or less, like, I knew everybody, and then I was very social and very friendly. And as soon that people find out that I was leaving my hometown to go to the city to study for for my high school, people start, to leave, to ignore me, to, removing me from group chats and stuff. And it's something that to a 13-year-old, like, it really hurts. Because you say, I made a choice of pursuing my education in a better and higher level, because of course, like, I went to a very good high school in the city, like, compared to the high school that I had back home. So I did something positive for myself. And not only I got ashamed because I jumped this part, but one of the last day of the year, like, I got ashamed by, like, an high school professor that he said that was not fair that was, going abroad just because, like, I had no respect for the community, and I was like, basically he told me that I was a spoiled brat. And it's something that hurts because, like, on the paper it's a positive action. Like, I think people that go out from from their comfort zone should be rewarded, should be acknowledged, and should be, like, I'm not saying compensated with, like, esteem, but, at least not be made fun of it. And when I was 13 is something that really changed me, because for the first time I said, those were not really my friend. I did something for myself which didn't impact their life, because it's not that I took off from them an opportunity, it was just a personal choice. And still they pushed me away. For what? Because I was not part of the community, because I chose to be different. And that is really, really, really hard to experience at 13 years old. And then with the time, I have a lot of examples, which I'm not gonna list because there are a lot. But still, sometimes, people are not nice to you. And also now, like, it's been past like 6 years maybe. When I still came back home, like, all the people that exclude me, I always say hi, I'm always with a smile put on. It's not a fake smile, because I genuinely like to see them again. But, like, the smile is contaminated, because yes, I smile, oh, long time no see. But still, like, when I look at their face, I remember the little kids that kicked me out. So, I don't forget, but I forgive. And that is very, very important. Very important businessman, Italian businessman, Ennio Doris, which is the founder of the Bank Mediolanum, used to say, the key of the success in life is to have some values and stick with them. Because in the moment that you stick with your values, the values sooner or later are going to reward you. So that was always my philosophy. So whenever a person, like, tried to hurt me, to stop me, to embarrass me, basically, I never for a second in my life thought about revenge. Because revenge is the thing that kills you. Revenge kills the spirit, basically. Because I'm gonna say another say, okay? And this is actually a Chinese say, and I really like it. So, revenge is caused by anger, okay? So, you have to think about the anger as a present. If you don't accept a present, the present remain within the sender. So basically, if you don't accept anger, if you don't accept people in your life that tries to act detrimental in your, like, against you, they can't do anything about it. So, my suggestion is to reject the anger and to embrace being friendly, being nice with everybody. you know, both on the friend side or the relationship side, it's something that I don't think it pay off, because like, you know, like friends use you, girls use you, you know, at the end you're not the cool guy, because we live in a complex society where like being nice is not cool anymore. So like, you know, like I have, like, from my experience, like, you know, with girls and stuff, I can say like, you know, as soon as you share like a sign of interest, of care, not interest but rather care, like, you know, like a genuine sense of like, you know, affection, like the interest from the girl part like start to fade away, because it's not something they're attracted to it, which is paradoxical, because I think the main point of finding a partner is to find somebody that loves you, you know, that, you know, something that you can share your success, your loss. And you know, it's absurd that as soon they notice like a sign of care, I'm not talking about everybody, but you know, the vast majority, they start to fade away, because I don't know why, like maybe the fear of, you know, being associated with one person for the rest of the life, which to me doesn't feel like a fear. To me rather seems like, you know, a goal, or like, you know, something to be proud of. So, you know, also when I see my friends, like I have some friends that I've been in the relationship for the last 7 years with the same girl, and I think that as being something to be proud of, because it mean that not only you are like faithful, but you're a trustable person, you know. So like staying with the same person for a lot of time is something difficult. So because sooner or later, like, you know, problems will arise, and you know, wherever, like, you know, also life sometimes tracks you down. But you know, like being persistent and overcoming the challenge together, like it's a very important thing. It's a thing to be proud of. So like, you know, I think you have to think about a partner as a teammate, as a squad. It's me and you, like two people, possibly two young people, because you know, I have to find a partner like sooner or later in life, and that they overcome challenges, they help each other out to build their success, they constitute each other happiness. And you know, I'm a very sentimental romantic guy, which is something that I felt was not appreciated at all by, you know, a lot of people. But that's okay. That's okay, because like sooner or later I will find the woman of my life, and she will have like everything the other could not have it. So like, you know, a faithful, loving and caring husband. And you know, sometimes it hurts when, you know, you think you find the right one, because maybe you like her aesthetically, you like talking with her and stuff, but at the end, like, you know, like sometimes those kind of girl like want to play with you, or like, you know, just they don't really care, or they don't have enough respect. And that is very interesting point, because there are many girls, you know, I found that many girls at my age, they are not mature yet, so in the sense that don't have the respect for others, which is something that is critical, like it's fundamental, like to love someone, to have respect. Okay. And in some people, like some people never love the entire life, because in order to love, you have to have self-respect. And many people, it's sad to say but it's true, many people, they don't experience true love, because they don't respect themselves. So if I'm not respecting myself, which is the most valuable thing that I have, it's my body, it's me, it's myself, my body, my spirit, my health, how can I respect somebody else? It's something, you know, you just cannot do it. And you know, so love is self-respect, affection, not respect, not self respect, affection, and you know, and wherever you can put it on. So that's it. I just wanted to share my vision. And if you have any experience, if you want to talk about, feel free to comment below. I'm very happy to read all the comments if there are any. I hope so, because it means like people like watch the entire video. But still, never change your values. Never change your mind, your spirit. Change your ideas, change your position, change your state, change country, change friends, but not values. Values are the only things that sticks with to yourself for life. And once you change them, once you change your values, you just lost yourself. Because changes perspective, changing, and with values, with values I intend like fundamental values, not ideas. Because changing ideas is a sign of great intellect and intelligence. Because changing ideas means that you're able to debate, to challenge your perspective, and to improve it. Because with communication comes improvement. But when you change your core values, which should be love, respect, self-dignity, you're not going anywhere. And it's not because, like, you know, they're a currency or you have to brag about it, like on a podcast or like, you know, an interview saying I'm a man with values, so I'm a very moral, high moral man or woman or wherever. It's not because that. Because changing your values means that you cannot ensure accountability and trust. Because changing your values is the same as changing, you know, taking sides, swapping sides, you know. It's like not having a spine, you know. It's I don't want to be too harsh, but this is the reality. So guys, stick with your values and see you in the next video.